ready for our today's class? I hope you're all ready to listen to me today. Okay. Do you remember the title of our lesson we are learning? What is the title of our lesson? The Great Smog of 1952. What is mean by smog? It's a mixture of fog and smoke. And it talks more about what is the name of the city? Very good. It's London. So this lesson talks about the causes and effects of air pollution. How can we control air pollution? We can plant many number of trees in our surroundings. We can plant trees by the roadside wherever we could. We have to plant trees. By planting trees, we can reduce this air pollution. What else we can do to control the automobiles? For example, in a family, there is a father, mother, a brother and a sister. They have a parents and 2 children. They are all having a separate vehicle for them. The brother is having his own 2-wheeler as well as a car. Father is also having a car as well as a 2-wheeler. Mother has her own vehicle. The sister is also having her own. Is it necessary? No. The entire family can have only one car, isn't it? Or one 2-wheeler. The rest, they can go in the town bus. They can use the town bus. So that we can reduce the toxic contents of air. Can't we? Absolutely we can. So this kind of many number of vehicles per family, per home is the reason for the increasing the toxic content in air. Because these much automobiles are emitting poisonous gas, toxic gas are emitted from these automobiles. Now the oxygen content in air is decreasing day by day. People are unable to breathe. So we can plant as many number of trees in our surroundings to protect our environment as well as it's good for the air. It can control the air pollution. Then we can reduce the usage of vehicles. We can use the town bus or train. No need of possessing a vehicle for each one of us. It's unnecessary, isn't it? So there are so many steps, so many precautionary steps we can take to control pollution. It's not only air pollution. We can reduce the emission of these toxic things in the environment by following so many processes. Okay. Can you guess what are the necessary steps we can take to control soil pollution, control water pollution? Nowadays, oil spilling from ships is a very dangerous thing in seas and oceans. The species which are living in the ocean are now in endangered condition. The extinction is increasing. So what we can do, it's high time for us to control these kind of pollutions. These are the dangerous things which are attacking us, which are about to attack us heavily in future. So it's high time to protect our environment. So you have to think about all these, okay? Here, what we have seen in the last class in the Great Smog of 1952, it talks about the air pollution which is there in London. It attacked 3 major cities there in Britain. What are they? The London Bridge, the Big Ben and also St. Paul's Cathedral. So these are the major areas which are affected by this smog. At first the climate was very cold and chill. People started to use more number of fuels to add make their environment warm. The factories, the industries are using the number of fuels, the level or the quantity of fuels they are using is very high, and that's why this fog turns into smog. The smell of this smog is like a rotten egg. It's because of the sulfur content in the air. Next, what we have seen, the government has announced that children should be there at home. They should not come out of the house. And the people who are walking in the street or in the pavement, they are looking like as they are working in coal mines. They are looking like coal miners, the laborers who are working in coal mine. Just think about that. Next, the drivers, they are unable to move forward. They are unable to take their cars. So they left their cars abandonedly on the road. The conductors are guiding the drivers to move on the road. It was also a complete failure. Now the transportation has stopped completely. Ships are not moving. Trains are not moving. Buses, they cannot take the bus. The flights were also cancelled. The flights can't fly in the sky. So all the transport facilities were stopped there in London in these days. When it started on December 5th, 1952. So at first people ignored this and they thought that okay, it will be alright soon. But by the end of the day, the condition there becomes worse. People are helpless. They are disabled. Disabled in the sense they are helpless. They cannot do anything. They are unaware. This is the first experience for them. Not about air pollution. It's common, but such a heavy effect of air pollution is the first experience the people are experiencing in London. So they are helpless. They do not know what to do. They are helpless. They cannot see each other. They can't even see their feet. They can't travel. People are settled there inside their home. Just like now we are inside our home. Like in a cage. Isn't it? Some of you may feel that you are arrested inside a cage. But it is not. It's the precautionary step. It is the only precautionary step we can do in this pandemic situation. That's why we are all at home. So here, people are all stayed at home. They can't come out of their home. Students, the children are not able to go and get education. So the people affected heavily. The smoke which are emitted from the chimneys of the factories and industries are all polluting the entire air. That is, oxygen is very essential for us to breathe, but the oxygen level or the elements in the air is decreasing, is reducing, and the toxic elements in the air is increasing. So this is the condition there. All the ships, trains, flights, buses, everything stopped and the transportation is completely stopped there. Now, the children are also at home. People who are affected by pneumonia and bronchitis, it is increasing. People, because of this worse condition, the people are unable to breathe, isn't it? It will cause dangerous disease for the people. People who are affected with pneumonia or bronchitis are affected heavily, and more than 4,000 people lost their life in those days. Actually, I have to tell you one thing. This 1952 December 5th great tragedy, it starts on December 5th and it continues for 5 days. Within these 5 days, more than 4,000 people they lost their life. They passed away. They are dead now. Only because of this air pollution. Today the condition condition of Delhi is very worse. Before lockdown, the condition of Delhi was worse, but now in these few months, it's better when comparing with that. But we will also sometimes will face the same condition which happened in London. We should be alert. So here, more than 4,000 people lost their life due to this smog. Another report says that it is not 4,000, it is more than 8,000 to 12,000. So more than 12,000 people lost their life due to this smog. What is the government is doing there? What the government is doing? They are helpless. This is the first experience for them. Such a great tragedy. This is the first experience. They are unaware what they should do. They are helpless. So people at first a report says that more than 4,000 people lost their life, and again another report says, which is said by the experts, they are saying that it is not 4,000, it is more than 8,000 to 12,000 people lost their life. Another important thing we should note down here is this air pollution. Who is the reason for this? It is human being. It is not animals or birds. But animals and bats were also affected by this condition, this worst condition. How? In the smog, birds are unable to fly in the sky. Their vision is completely blocked. They couldn't see what is there in front of them. Who couldn't see? These birds. The birds are unable to see what is there in front. So they crashed in the buildings. Most of the birds, they crashed in the buildings. They have high buildings there in London. So these birds, as they are unable to see, they crashed in the buildings and they lost their lives. A lot number of birds lost their life by crashing in the building. And there is a show which was organized by the committee. So this Smithfield show has organized to the Earl Court. There were so many heifers. The cows were brought for this Smithfield show. All those cows were choked to death. So the reason behind this tragedy, this great incident is human beings. But it also affects the birds and animals. They are unaware of these things. Are they polluting the air? No. Are they polluting the soil or water? No. But they are also affected by the deeds, the actions of human beings. So it is our duty to protect our nature, our environment. But are we protecting the nature? No. We are polluting, we are spoiling, and we are destroying the nature. So the birds and animals were also affected by the action of human beings. So this is what happened in London. Now this British government, at first they did not take any actions, but later they have announced so many laws. They announced some restrictions for the factories and industries, so that they are able to control this air pollution. At first they are unaware, they do not know what to do, because this is the first experience. So now at first the British government didn't take any decisions or any action, but later they have announced, they made some rules and regulations for the factories and industries, how to dispose the soot from the factories and industries. So some rules and regulations has to be followed by the factories. So they rearranged the law, they announced so many new laws there to control air pollution. Can you understand, students? So this worst condition continues for 5 days, from December 5th to December 9th. So this worst condition continues for 5 days. After 5 days, the wind blows from west, takes this smog away to the North Sea. So till that, on these 5 days, the smog was stagnated there in the city. Wind stopped, no blowing of wind was there. Wind doesn't blow. But after 5 days, wind blows from the west side and it takes the smog away from the city and it takes the smog to the northern sea. So for these 5 days, the people suffered a lot for 24 hours, not for 1 hour. Can we stay or can we stand for 1 hour or for half an hour in a place where soot is emitting from these chimneys or from factories? Can we stay there for half an hour? No, we cannot. But these people, the Londoners, they accept this accident or this trouble for 5 days. They adjust with this environment. They are unable to breathe it. They are helpless. They do not know anything. They do not know what to do then. So they accepted this. But later they realized the fact and the government also, at first they ignored. The government also did not take any actions to control this air pollution, but later they take some actions to control this air pollution. Can you understand, students? So at first the British government, they did not take any precautionary steps or any actions to control this air pollution. But later, in the year 1956, the Parliament, the British Parliament has announced an act, that is Clean Air Act of 1956. Clean Air Act of 1956. Based on this, they have regulated so many rules and restrictions for the factories and industries to control air pollution. How to dispose the industrial wastes there which are emitted from the factories and industries. Again the same happened. Again in the year 1962, 750 people again died because of air pollution. So the reason behind these kind of accidents or these kinds of tragedy is human being. But we are unaware of this. We are not taking care of nature. God has created each one of us to protect our environment. It's our duty to protect our environment. But we are not thinking about nature. We are not thinking about the environment, the surrounding, what's happening around us. We are unaware. We are plundering the natural resources day by day. By cutting the trees, by polluting the water bodies, the water resources, we are spoiling the water resources. The thirsty tongue know the value of a drop of water. The desert countries, they are in thirst for water, but we are wasting water. We are polluting water. So we should think about this. We are polluting water, land, air. We are polluting everything. We are destroying the nature. So it's high time to protect our environment. The benefit which we get from protecting our environment is for us as well as for the future generation. So students, I hope you all have understood this lesson. It's high time for you to think, what should I do? What can I do to protect my environment? I have to live in this world. My future generations should also live in this world. What can I do? What should I do? What I could do to protect this environment? Think about it, students.